we in the Pan-African movement have struggled for centuries for the liberation of Africa. Initially, it was anti-slavery, then decolonization, and now we've reached the frontiers of struggling against the neocolonialism and exploitation and foreign domination and interference. Now, like I said earlier, these goals cannot be achieved if we don't liberate ourselves economically. And the only way we can do it, the way we can liberate ourselves economically, is by assisting, by coming together as African governments and the mass movements on the African continent to assist those who have reached captainship of industry and service on the continent to put together their resources and struggle to compete with the best in the world, and then eradicate the imbalanced exploitation of African resources in favor of the developed world as opposed to the developing world. All along, Africa has developed Europe, North America, and other areas to its her own disadvantage. When you hear of donors and donees, and the mentality is that Europe, North America, and others give donations to Africa, it's a misrepresentation of the true fact on the ground. Africa is the donor. Why? Because we sell 1 kilo of cotton at $2 and buy it back at 20. We sell 1 kilo of coffee at $1.50 and buy it back at 10. We sell 1 barrel of oil at, well, call it $100 and buy it back at 700. Because when you sell oil, what happens? You sell crude oil, you give away petroleum, you give away aviation fuel, you give away diesel, you give away grease, you give away plastics, you give away kerosene, you give away gunpowder, you give away fertilizer, you give away tar. From that barrel of oil, you buy back all these products at a higher price because Africa has failed to put value to its raw materials. When you sell coffee, you sell alcohol, you sell fertilizer, you sell hydrocarbons, you sell coffee itself, you sell other ingredients which you then buy back at a bigger cost. So it's Africa that is actually donating to the developed world. So what you are saying is our entrepreneurs ought to pull their resources together to start challenging the monopoly of extraction of African resources. That's the only way we can stop Africans drowning in the Mediterranean going to Europe. We have resources, Europe is exhausted. Yet Africans drown in the Mediterranean because we, who've been in charge of Africa for the last 50 or so years, have failed to turn this plentiful wealth into prosperity and well-being for our people. That's why the Pan-African movement is going into partnership with these captains of industry and service to try to reverse that trend. We are infusing the spirit of Pan-Africanism to encourage these entrepreneurs to work together in the spirit and the brotherhood of Pan-Africanism. So we, the movement, would like to stand behind these captains of industry and service in order to urge our governments, because we are an affiliated organization of the AU, to urge our governments through the collective effort of AU to be able to realize sovereignty through poverty eradication. A poor man is not a proud man. You cannot be sovereign when you are poor. Poverty, sovereignty in poverty is poverty of sovereignty. President Kenyatta is the regional patron of the Pan-African movement of the East African region and the national patron of Pan-Africanism in Kenya. So we talk to him. As a movement, we talk to him, and through him we influence, through him and other African leaders, we influence policy and direction?
Well, we've been working with the regional. We're asking the regional, because we've been looking at, as we went to Russia last time, we asked them to form teaching hospitals that whereby instead of students, the students can do their postgraduate degrees, teaching hospitals. The program will continue with spirit with the Pan-African movement, because we have been doing a regional program, and we want to, in support with the Pan-African movement, we will be able to partially support the students all over, and the scholarships can come partially from the different governments, which have been promised by Russia and other countries. So on our part as Universal, we'll give the upkeep and the tickets, and on the part of the organization, the African government organization, they can get the tuition scholarships.
Kata.
Ngoja, Edmond.
Kata.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yes.